financial history of the world changed forever last night. And you didn't hear about it. Why? Because mainstream media wants you focused on Ukraine, on elections, on celebrity scandals, anything except what just happened in the shadows between China and Saudi Arabia. And while you were sleeping, while the news was talking about everything else, two countries signed a deal that just ended American financial dominance. Not in 10 years, not eventually. It's over. Done. Finished. This isn't about war. This isn't about tanks or missiles. This is about something more powerful than any weapon. Control of money itself, and the weapon they just used. It's called the Petro-Yuan. In this video, I'm going to expose the secret deal that China and Saudi Arabia just activated. The deal that killed the petrodollar system. The deal that could make the US dollar lose 50% of its value in the next 30 days. This is not a prediction. This is not a theory. This is happening right now. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your savings, your paycheck, and your future just became a target. Let me show you the betrayal that nobody saw coming. But first, you need to understand the promise that just got broken after 50 years. 1974. President Richard Nixon, the king of Saudi Arabia, a secret meeting in the desert. They made a deal, a promise, an agreement that would shape the next 50 years of global power. Here's what they agreed. Saudi Arabia would sell all its oil, every single barrel, only in US dollars. And in exchange, America would provide military protection, weapons, security guarantees. This wasn't just a trade deal. This was the foundation of American power. Think about it. Every country in the world needs oil. Japan needs oil. Europe needs oil. China needs oil. India needs oil. Everyone needs oil. And if oil can only be bought with dollars, then everyone needs dollars. This created something called the petrodollar system. And it made America the most powerful country on earth for half a century. When Japan wants to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, they first have to get US dollars. So they sell their products to America, get paid in dollars, then use those dollars to buy oil. When Europe needs oil, same thing. Get dollars first, then buy oil. This meant constant, never-ending demand for the US dollar. No matter what America did, print money, run deficits, fight wars, the world still needed dollars to buy oil. It was the perfect system for America. But last week, something changed. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman met with Chinese President Xi Jinping, not in Washington, not in New York, in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. And they didn't just shake hands for the cameras. They activated something that's been planned for years, the Petro-Yuan, a system where oil is bought and sold in Chinese yuan instead of US dollars. This is the betrayal. For 50 years, America protected Saudi Arabia, American weapons, American military bases, American security guarantees. Saudi Arabia exists as a stable kingdom because America made it possible. And now, they just stabbed America in the back. The 50-year promise is broken, and the consequences are about to hit like a financial earthquake. Let me show you the evidence that proves this deal is real and already active. Most people saw Xi Jinping's visit to Saudi Arabia as just another diplomatic meeting, business as usual, handshakes and smiles. But if you know what to look for, you can see this was the final negotiation for something much bigger. Xi Jinping's visit wasn't random. It happened right after Saudi Arabia announced it was considering joining BRICS, the economic alliance between Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. BRICS isn't just a trade group, it's an anti-dollar alliance. Every BRICS country has the same goal: reduce dependence on the US dollar. Saudi Arabia joining BRICS? That's like America's oldest ally switching sides in the middle of a war. While everyone was watching the handshakes, China was quietly building infrastructure, something called the Shanghai International Energy Exchange, or INE for short. What is it? It's China's version of the New York oil market, but with one crucial difference. Trades happen in yuan, not dollars. This isn't new. The INE has been operating since 2018, but it was small, experimental. Most oil trades still happened in dollars through New York and London. Until now. According to sources inside the energy trading industry, Saudi Arabia has begun pricing major oil contracts for Chinese buyers in yuan through the Shanghai Exchange. Not all contracts, not publicly announced, but the shift has started. You can't flip a switch and change the global oil market overnight. You need infrastructure. You need systems. You need agreements. And China has been building all of it for years. Currency swap agreements with dozens of countries, UN clearinghouses in London, Frankfurt, and Singapore, the Belt and Road Initiative creating trade routes that bypass the dollar, and digital yuan technology ready to handle international transactions. This wasn't planned last week. This was planned years ago. The Xi-Saudi meeting wasn't the beginning. It was the activation. The infrastructure is ready. The agreements are signed. The Petro-Yuan is live. And most people have no idea what this means for the dollar. Let me show you exactly how this kills the dollar, step by step. Imagine the US dollar as a building, a massive skyscraper, and the foundation the main pillar holding everything up, is the petrodollar system. China and Saudi Arabia just planted dynamite at the base of that pillar, and they just pushed the button. Let me show you exactly how this building comes down. China is the world's largest importer of oil. They buy approximately 11 million barrels per day. That's 4 billion barrels per year. For the last 50 years, China had to buy dollars first, then buy oil with those dollars. Not anymore. Now they can buy oil directly with yuan. No dollars needed. That's trillions of dollars in annual demand that just disappeared overnight. When Saudi Arabia, the most important oil producer, accepts yuan, it sends a signal to the entire world. You don't need dollars anymore. Who follows? Everyone who doesn't want to depend on America: Russia, Iran, Pakistan, Brazil, India, and African nations. One by one, countries stop needing dollars for oil. One by one, they dump their dollar reserves. Here's where it gets catastrophic. Right now, countries around the world are holding approximately $12 trillion in US dollar reserves. They hold these dollars because they need them to buy oil and conduct international trade. But if they don't need dollars for oil anymore, what happens to those $12 trillion? They sell them. All at once, a massive, coordinated dump of dollars back into the global market. And here's the nightmare scenario. When $12 trillion in dollars flood back into circulation, when nobody wants them anymore, when demand collapses while supply explodes, the value of the dollar crashes. Not slowly, not gradually, violently, catastrophically. Think about what that means for you. Your savings account? Cut in half. Your paycheck? Buys half as much as it did last month. Gas, food, rent, doubled, tripled, exploded in price. This isn't theory. This is the mathematical result of the petrodollar system ending. The pillar just got blown up. The building is coming down. And the collapse doesn't stop at America's borders. Let me show you who else burns. When the dollar collapses, America doesn't fall alone. The entire Western financial system is connected. And when one piece fails, the dominoes start falling. Europe's entire economy is built on dollar-based trade. European countries hold massive dollar reserves. European companies have dollar-denominated debt. When the dollar crashes, Europe crashes with it. The euro, already weak, loses credibility. European banks holding dollar assets go insolvent. Germany, France, Italy, they're all caught in the blast radius. They've tied their fate to the dollar for 50 years. Now that decision destroys them. Saudi Arabia isn't the only oil producer. The UAE, Kuwait, Iraq, Nigeria, they all export oil. And they're all watching Saudi Arabia. If the biggest producer accepts yuan, why shouldn't they? One by one, they'll follow. Not out of hatred for America, but out of economic survival. They'll trade with whoever offers the best deal. And China is offering them infrastructure, investment, and an alternative to dollar dominance. The US government has $36 trillion in debt. Most of that debt is held by foreign countries as treasury bonds. When the dollar loses value, those bonds become worthless. Why would China or Japan keep holding US debt when the currency it's denominated in is collapsing? They won't. They'll sell. Dump treasury bonds on the market. Interest rates will spike. The US government won't be able to borrow anymore. And when the government can't borrow, it can't pay for Social Security, Medicare, defense, anything. The system seizes up. This isn't just America's crisis. This is a global financial collapse triggered by the end of the petrodollar. And it's being led by countries that America once protected, once trusted, once considered allies. We're watching the birth of a new world order. G7 is finished, BRICS is rising, and the dollar is dying. So when does this happen? Let me show you the 30-day countdown that's already started. This isn't going to be announced on the news. The government won't tell you. Mainstream media will call it a correction or market volatility. But if you know what to look for, you can see the countdown has already begun. Right now, this week, central banks are quietly reducing their dollar holdings. Not dramatically, not publicly, but the smart money is moving. Watch the treasury market. If yields start spiking suddenly, if foreign buyers disappear, that's your first warning sign. By the second week, the panic spreads to stock markets. First in Asia, then Europe, then America. Media will call it a sell-off. Analysts will say it's temporary. Politicians will say the economy is fundamentally strong. They're lying. The smart money, the billionaires, the hedge funds, the people who know what's coming, they're getting out. By week 3, average people start to notice. Gas prices double. Grocery bills jump 50%. Import prices explode because the dollar is losing value against other currencies. Banks start feeling pressure. Lines form at ATMs. People panic buy essentials. The government announces temporary measures to calm markets. It won't work. Because the problem isn't panic, the problem is reality. The petrodollar is dead and the consequences can't be managed away. By the 4th week, you can't ignore it anymore. The dollar is in free fall. Everything costs exponentially more. Your paycheck, if you still have a job, is worth half what it was a month ago. The government will blame foreign adversaries, speculators, corporations, anyone except the real cause, the end of the petrodollar system that held the dollar up for 50 years. This is the 30-day countdown. And it started the moment China and Saudi Arabia activated the Petro-Yuan. So what do you actually do? Here's your escape plan. Let me ask you a simple question. If countries are losing faith in paper currency, why are you keeping all your wealth in paper? When China, Russia, India, and now Saudi Arabia are moving away from the dollar, what makes you think your dollars will hold value? You need a lifeboat, and you need it now. Gold is the oldest form of money. It survived Rome's collapse. It survived Weimar hyperinflation. It survived Venezuela's currency crisis. Why? Because gold can't be printed. Gold can't be devalued by a central bank decision. Gold is real, physical wealth. When currencies collapse, gold holds value. It's not a perfect investment. It doesn't pay dividends. But it's insurance. It's survival. Silver is gold's younger brother, cheaper to buy, easier to trade in small amounts, also can't be printed. Industrial demand for silver is exploding. Solar panels, electronics, electric vehicles all need silver. As the dollar loses value, physical commodities like silver hold their worth. Another option is hard assets you can use. Real estate in strategic locations, productive land, tools, equipment. Things that have utility regardless of what happens to currency. When systems collapse, the people who survive are the ones who own real things, not paper promises. Here's what you need to do right now, today, before it's too late. Calculate how much of your wealth is in pure dollar-denominated assets. Bank accounts, money market funds, dollar-based bonds. Decide what percentage you can afford to move into hard assets. Even 10-20% gives you insurance. Act immediately. Don't wait for confirmation from the news. Don't wait for the government to admit there's a crisis. By then, it's too late. Tell your family. Warn people you care about. This information could save them. The window is closing. The countdown has started. The Petro-Yuan is active, and your dollars are the target. China and Saudi Arabia just activated the Petro-Yuan. The 50-year promise that held up the dollar is broken. The petrodollar system is dead. Most people won't realize what happened until it's too late, until their savings are worthless, until their paycheck buys nothing, until the banks close and the system seizes up. But you're not most people. You watch this video. You understand what's coming. The question is, will you act? Will you protect your family's financial future? Or will you hope the government fixes this? Hope the media tells you the truth? Hope somehow the dollar survives? Hope is not a strategy. Action is survival. The countdown is already running. Week 1 has started. The bond markets are moving. The smart money is getting out. Don't be the person who saw it coming and did nothing. Move your wealth into real assets. Protect what you've worked for. Prepare for what's coming. Because in 30 days, when the collapse becomes obvious to everyone, it will be too late. The banks will restrict withdrawals. Assets will be frozen. Options will disappear. Act now. While you still can, hit that like button if this opened your eyes. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because I'll be tracking the situation day by day as it unfolds. Share this video. People need to know what's happening. The media won't tell them. The government won't warn them. The Petro-Yuan is active. The dollar is dying. And your financial future depends on what you do in the next 30 days. The clock is ticking.